Hey y'all, I'm Lachlan, and now that we've finally finished HHP, I can now design my villager homes on my island. So I am super ready to get into this. I am hoping that I can finish 10 out of 10 interior and exteriors of my villager homes, but we'll see how far I get. But like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoy my content, and let's get right into the homes. Alright, so we're going to jump right into these villager homes, and the first one I wanted to tackle was Bruce's house. So I not only have to do the exterior, but I also have to do the interior of his home because it's going to be a welcome center. So clearly the inside of Bruce's house is more city-like, so we are going to have to get rid of all of this and make it look like a welcome center for a fossil exhibit. So the main items that I needed to use for this was obviously a desk that you can basically donate money to, and for him to kind of give you a ticket to get into the fossil exhibit, the outdoor fossil exhibit. I'll link my speed build playlist down below in case you missed out on any of the speed builds that I've done on my island, but also my last few that I did for this welcome center. So I needed the interior to have a place to purchase a ticket and a place to just lounge, essentially. So I probably spent the most time on this home out of all the homes on the island, just because if he happens to be home when you visit, then you'll be able to actually see kind of this piece here. And then the next one, I basically moved down the line of where the homes are located. So the next one was Wade's house. His is like the first in the residential area. And I liked kind of the color tones that he already had in his interior, so I did want to stick with that. But I definitely wanted to lean in with some greens and some darker tones to kind of match the exterior of his home. Now, something that the villagers need in their homes, especially if you're keeping the island and kind of playing after you've designed their homes, is they need a kitchen and they need a workbench. Because when you visit your villagers, they'll either be cooking something or they're making something and they give you DIYs. So if you provide them those two items, that way they don't mess up or add that kitchen item later whenever they are cooking and kind of mess with your whole design that you worked so hard on. So I made sure in all of the homes to include a kitchen item and a workbench, just because I wasn't sure about the workbench part, but I didn't want them to mess up all of my hard work. So here is Piper's home. and I like that the inside of her home has pink tones, and I also wanted to keep the gyroid that I gifted her. After Wade's home, I ended up putting a gyroid in all of the homes, I believe. I just think they provide a lot more to the room than playing music, so I just thought that was cute that she still had the one that I gave her, so I kept it. So since her home, if you looked out the back part of her home, you would technically see into the ocean. So I made the back part look out into the ocean and just stuck with the lighter tones and some of those yellows and I think some pinks as well, but I didn't do as many as her home showed. And I will call Piper's home complete, and I just love how this turned out. It's so cute. All right, next is my boy Ken, and I kept with the darker tones here. And I really liked how his interior was already set up, so I basically kept most of his furniture that he had in here. I just still went with adding the kitchen item and the workbench and a few other things, so this one didn't take me as long as some of the others. And there is Ken's home complete, and I just love the greens in his home. I love the tea room wallpaper that he has. All right, now we're moving on to the dynamic duo that share the pond, starting with Bill. And I made Bill's home match the same style as Ken's, but just different colors. And then Bill's was another that I really liked the items that he had, or most of the items. So I thought I was going to use them in there, and then I ended up just removing all of them anyways. So yeah, but I did keep with the same like brown tones that he had in the room. And since Bill is a little bit of a nod to Bobby Pauls, the Nintendo guru, I did want to include the Animal Crossing Switch and some headphones in the room because that was, he really liked Nintendo and he basically did YouTube videos and he streamed. He was a guy with many talents, and so I definitely wanted to include that in there, kind of for Bobby. And there is Bill's home, and so precious. I love the little muffins on the table. It makes me hungry just looking at them. And then the other part of the duo is Scoot, and again made his home match the same style as Bill's and Ken's, but different colors, but they still go well together and go well with the surrounding areas. His home looks like it's trying to bring the outdoors in, and so I definitely kept with that, but I made the outdoors match what the theme of this island is, which is autumn themed, and so I stuck with my usual accent wall, but made it more fall themed versus just blue sky, if that makes sense. And I obviously had to include the two little ducks because that yellow duck was something that I gave him and he just kept. there is Scoot's home, fully complete. Alright, so up until this point, I had been steadily doing the interiors and the exteriors. However, since Gladys and Quinn are kind of up on their own, and because I've done so many homes already, I was already tired at this point to do the interiors of their homes. So yes, they unfortunately only got the exteriors of their homes designed. So I know I hadn't mentioned that I had gotten Marlowe, but yes, I ended up replacing Fret with Marlowe. I amiiboed in Marlowe because I had his amiibo card. Since his home is right behind Nook's Cranny in kind of a foresty area, I made his house a log cabin. And because I knew that the interior of his home was more city than log cabin-y, is that a word? I had to do his interior because otherwise it would have just looked very strange. So I did spend the time to design the inside of his home to look like a log cabin, but I still gave him a desk and some of those items that still stuck with his theme. But there is his home complete, and he is hanging out in his massage chair, of course. So for Azalea, the last villager on the island, I just did her exterior. The inside of her home is also really cute. It still leans to the plant mama that she is. So I basically was like, it's fine. We'll just do the outside and call it a day. So I don't know about y'all, but I am so happy to be fully done with my island. Now I have some final things to do before I can release my dream address and before I do my final walkthrough tour of the island that I can post here on YouTube. So like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on that dream address release and my tour. But thank you so much for watching.